The hideout was unusually quiet when Ash entered the strategy room. Echo and Riven stood over a map of the Western Protectorate, lantern light casting sharp shadows across their faces. Riven tapped a marked route. Empire Convoy, leaving Grey Hollow at dawn, destination Emberspire. Echo's jaw tightened. Cargo? Unknown, Riven said, but heavily guarded, too heavily for supplies. Ash felt a chill. Wraith-related? Maybe, Echo said. We're intercepting it. Riven raised a brow. You're taking the Ash Mage? Echo didn't hesitate. Yes. Ash blinked. Echo didn't look at her, but the certainty in her voice warmed something deep inside Ash's chest. Riven grunted. Fine, but Thornwood is dangerous. Don't get sentimental. Echo's eyes flicked to Ash, a brief, unreadable glance. Let's move. Thornwood Forest was ancient, towering black pines, twisted roots, and a perpetual mist that clung to the ground like breath from unseen mouths. Birds didn't sing here. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Ash walked beside Echo, senses alert. The forest felt wrong, heavy, like it remembered every death that had ever happened beneath its branches. Echo noticed her tension. Stay close. Ash nodded. I'm not afraid of the forest. I didn't say you were. Their eyes met briefly, a flicker of warmth, quickly swallowed by the mission. The rebels took positions along a ridge overlooking the road. Echo crouched beside Ash, pointing to the bend where the convoy would appear. When the first wagon passes that marker, we strike. Ash, you stay with me. Ash's heart skipped. Of course. Echo's lips twitched, almost a smile. Good. The convoy arrived right on schedule. 2 armored wagons, a dozen soldiers, and a pair of sanctioned fire mages walking alongside with torches burning unnaturally bright. Echo raised her hand. The rebels attacked. Arrows flew, smoke bombs burst. Echo leapt from the ridge with a battle cry, her blessed silver sword flashing. Ash followed, pulling ash from the forest floor. Old campfires, burnt leaves, the residue of ancient lightning strikes. She used it to blind the fire mages, swirling ash around their torches until the flames sputtered. The fight was quick, efficient, and controlled, until Ash reached the wagons. Her breath caught. Inside the iron cages were people, 6 of them, dirty, bruised, terrified. Forbidden mages. Ash's pulse roared in her ears. Echo landed beside her. What the hell? Ash pointed. They're taking them to the spire. Echo swore under her breath. This wasn't part of the mission. Ash's voice cracked. We can't leave them. Echo hesitated, torn between strategy and conscience. Then she made her choice. Riven? Echo shouted. We're freeing them. Riven cursed loudly, but didn't argue. Echo turned to Ash. Can you weaken the cages? Ash nodded, already reaching for the ash clinging to the iron bars, residue from countless executions soaked into the metal. She whispered a word. The bars shuddered. Ash worked quickly, sweat beading on her brow as she coaxed the ash to re-roll the iron. The bars crumbled like burnt paper. Echo and her team pulled the prisoners out one by one. Then Ash froze. Corin? A young man with soot-dark hair and warm brown eyes looked up weakly. Ash? Her heart twisted. She had known him briefly during her early months in hiding, a fire mage who had taught her how to barter safely in Grey Hollow's markets. He had been kind, brave, reckless. Corin, what happened? He coughed, blood staining his lips. They caught us, took us from the border, said we were fuel. Ash's stomach dropped. Fuel for what? Corin's eyes filled with terror. The spire. It takes your fire and makes it scream. Ash's breath hitched. Corin! A shout cut through the forest. Reinforcements. Echo grabbed Ash's arm. "We have to move." Ash lifted Corin with Echo's help. He was too light, too cold. They ran. The forest became a blur of shadows and breathless urgency. Echo's team formed a protective ring around the rescued mages, fighting off small groups of pursuing soldiers. Ash stayed beside Corin, supporting him as best she could. He clutched her sleeve weakly. "Ash, don't let them take you." "They won't," she whispered. "You're safe now." But Corin shook his head. "No one is safe. Not from the spire." His breathing faltered. "Corin, stay with me." He smiled faintly. "You always had more fire than you knew." Then his body went still. Ash stopped walking. Echo turned immediately. "Ash?" "He's gone," Ash whispered. Echo's expression softened. Grief, anger, helplessness all flickering across her face. "We have to keep moving," Echo said gently. "We'll bury him properly." Ash nodded numbly, tears mixing with the forest mist. By the time they reached the hideout, night had fallen. The rescued mages were taken to the infirmary. Corin's body was carried away with quiet reverence. Ash stood alone in the courtyard, rain beginning to fall in soft, cold sheets. She didn't go inside. She couldn't. Her magic felt heavy, tainted by failure. She had saved others, but not him. Not someone she knew. Someone who had once made her laugh on a day she thought she'd never smile again. She sank onto the stone steps, letting the rain soak her hair, her clothes, her skin. It felt like penance. Footsteps approached. Echo. She didn't speak. She simply sat beside Ash, close enough that their shoulders brushed. They sat in silence as the rain fell harder, drumming softly on the stone. After a long time, Echo spoke, voice low, rough. "My youngest brother. His name was Leo. He had healing magic, just a little, enough to help close cuts, enough to help my mother when she got sick." Ash turned her head slowly. Echo stared straight ahead. "The Empire found out. They took him when I was 16, executed him for unlicensed magic." Ash's breath caught. "Echo." "I joined the rebellion the next day. I didn't know what else to do with the anger." Ash's eyes stung. "I'm so sorry." Echo finally looked at her. "I know what it feels like to lose someone and not be able to stop it." Ash's voice trembled. "I tried. I really tried." "I know," Echo whispered. Ash leaned her head against Echo's shoulder, tentative at first, then fully, letting herself rest there. Echo didn't move. Then slowly, she wrapped an arm around Ash, pulling her close. They stayed like that until dawn, two warriors sitting in the rain, sharing grief, sharing warmth, and sharing something neither of them dared name yet. The first light of morning broke through the clouds, casting a pale glow over the courtyard. Ash and Echo sat together, still leaning against each other, rain-soaked and exhausted, but no longer alone. Inside the hideout, the rescued mages slept fitfully. Outside, the world shifted, the first true crack in the Empire's secrets. And in the quiet between them, something fragile and powerful began to root.